What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have the next segment on Assassin's Creed Shadows, the combat segment. And just like before, if you guys didn't watch my stealth segment, I will link that at the end of the video. So it's going to basically go down just like in that video. I'm going to show you some screenshots, read off of it, and then also give my opinion on that little portion of the descriptions that they all provided from Ubisoft. Alright, before we get into this, I want to thank everybody for the love and support throughout the last couple weeks. You guys have been amazing with your awesome comments. You guys are just amazing, and I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. But anyway, let's get right into this Assassin's Creed Shadows combat gameplay overview. So, without further ado, let's get it right on into this. Offensive Basic. We'll start with a quick round of the basic principle of Shadow's fighting system. Remember that choosing to fight as Nawe or Yasuke, as well as your choice of weapon, can alter these building blocks. So, right off the bat, they're saying, depending on who you choose, depends on what weapon you choose to fight with them, depends on everything. So this game is going to be, like, in my point of view and what they're explaining here, is it's going to be quite a system, and I think it's going to be a good system. Light attacks. Light attacks in Shadows are quick, fluid, and reasonable, inflicting increments of damage. However, some enemies can power through them and land attacks of their own, so be careful. So light attacks are your basic attacks. Quick section, if you want to just land some attacks very quickly, that's basically what you need to do. Self-explanatory, really. Obviously, without this, it wouldn't even, you have to have light attacks anyway. But good. I'm glad that they're going over that. So let's move on to heavy attack. And just as a disclaimer, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce words, because I know later in this video I'm going to not pronounce words the correct way, but just please bear with me. Heavy attacks. Packing a bit more strength, heavy attacks inflict higher damage on most enemies. Useful to stagger them and create some space around you. So heavy attacks are, once again, just like in Valhalla, Origins, Odyssey, there was a light attack and there's a heavy attack. Heavy attacks are more slower, but they increase the damage, or I should say increase the damage from light attacks. So light attacks does your basic damage, your quick attacks, but heavy attacks are your slower attacks, but do more damage than light attacks. Very, once again, self-explanatory right there. Alright, this next one, posture attacks, or posturate, or once again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I already suck with my vocabulary, as you all know already. But, yeah, let me show you what this says. Alright, posture attacks. Holding the input on any attack, that is, pressing and holding the light or heavy attack button, will charge that attack to significantly increase its damage output. This is also a posture attack. A posture attack can be held indefinitely, allowing you to adjust your distance or change targets. All posture attacks are great at breaking through an enemy's blocking stance, breaking their guard instantly. So, from what I'm getting at this, is it's basically an advanced version of a heavy attack, basically. So, you take, which you can also do this for a light attack, as you just stated. So basically it takes your light or heavy attack and charges it up to increase its damage. So if you do a advanced light attack, it's going to be a lot better than your basic light attack. Instead of pressing, like square for your light attack, you gotta hold square to charge up your light attack to make it into a posture attack. Same thing with heavy. So basically, this just significantly increases your damage even more. So I'm very excited to see what that has to do. Light attacks can be postured a bit faster than heavy attacks, but heavy posture attacks pack one hell of a punch. If you get the timing right, take note though, enemies will watch out for your attacks, or your posture attack, and attempts to prevent you from charging them, so make sure you keep an eye out. So, apparently the enemies will be aware of what you're trying to do. I like that. That gives you a little bit of a challenge. I cannot wait to see what this does. And by the way, I will link this article down below in the description. It does, just like the stealth part, it does show off some more gameplay. So I will link it I'll link it in the description if you guys want to watch and read for yourself. Let's see. Mixing light and heavy and posture attacks is the best way to build up different types of complex combos. So, like in any fighting game, there are combos that you can pull off, and you can mix up your combo. So you could start an attack with a light attack, then goes to do a posture attack with your heavy portion, and then end it off in a heavy attack, just for an example. Or you could vice versa. You could mix it up. Don't have to use a certain attack, maybe just light and heavy attacks if you wanted to. Honestly, this is just self-explanatory. Again, it's I can't wait to see what it looks like with combos anyway. But yeah, that's the posturing attack. So now let's move on to vulnerable states. Vulnerable state. Under certain conditions such as perfect dodges, an enemy can be put in a vulnerable state, a short window in which they can be dealt devastating damage. The vulnerable state is the perfect opportunity to counterattack by unleashing a posture attack or an active ability for maximum damage. So basically what this is saying is, obviously, just like in the other games, or some of them anyway, like Odyssey or Valhalla, if you do a perfect dodge, so like in Valhalla, if you did a perfect dodge, it would slow down time. But in this game, if you do a perfect dodge, for a short window, they can be dealt, or you can deal devastating damage. Once again, I apologize. It's still early in the morning. I'm very excited once I started reading this. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, defensive basics. There are a few different ways in which Naue and Yasuke can defend themselves, some unique to each protagonist. Here's a quick roundup. Okay, so this is where it's going to get interesting. When I first read this, I was a bit confused, but obviously once I read it again, I understood it. So let's get right on into it. The first one is dodge. Dodge. Both Naue and Yasuke can use directional dodges to avoid incoming blows. Naue's dodges are characterized by directional rolls, where Yasuke's are the directional steps that can keep his stature upright throughout. So Naue has an actual dodge ability where she rolls, while Yasuke is basically, think of like Odyssey, where when you press dodge, your protagonist, rather if you choose Cassandra or Alexios, just does a little step motion. Now in Odyssey, if you held the dodge button, they do a quick dodge and then a roll. So I wonder if Yasuke if you hold it, if he would be able to do a roll. I don't think so by the way that they're explaining it, but I'm very excited to see what would happen if you held dodge. So, alright, parry and deflect. Both Yasuke and Naue share similar mechanics under a parry/deflective umbrella, but the results vary slightly for each of them. Yasuke parry's mechanics happens on a straight line when a parry is successful. The enemy bounces back, opening themselves up to a counterattack. In short, Yasuke does not back down and does not concede Terran. Naoe's deflect mechanics require similar timing, but sees her pivots to either side of the enemy, deflecting their attacks away from her. This changes the axis of combat, exposing the enemy's flank, but it also means Naoe opens herself up to surrounding enemies, pushing you to always stay alert. Okay, so seems like Yasuke is going to be like that parry where he's going to block and then you can attack. While Yasuke, which once again, if you guys go visit the website and watch the video for yourself, because they do leave some little like 30-second clips of what they're explaining. Yasuke will deflect and attack, or I should say deflect and the enemy staggers, while Naoe parries and then positions herself behind or to the side of the enemy, opening them up right then and there. However, when in that state, she is open up to the other surrounding enemies. So it seems like with Naoe, it's going to be a lot harder in combat. So this tells me that she is definitely our stealth character, which after going through the stealth segment, which once again will be linked at the end of the video, it seems like she is going to be our stealth focus. So what it looks like is, just like I've said from the very beginning, Naoe is going to definitely be our assassin's character, more focused on stealth, while Yasuke is going to be our combat character and our RPG character, if that makes any sense. So if you are a fan of the RPG games, Yasuke is your guy, he is your protagonist, and he is the one that's going to be the more benefit for you, or in more of your play style. But as an old Assassin's Creed fan like myself, Naoe will be our go-to protagonist, because that is the assassin character. So I'm very excited to see that they both will be playing very differently, which has been this whole thing with Shadows anyway. We already know that this is... Like, the more that they release, the more I get excited for. So I cannot wait to see what else they have in store. Alright, let's move on to block. Block. Unique to Yasuke, block mechanics allow him to turtle up behind his weapon and withstand attacks, including incoming arrows, or I have no idea how to pronounce that. Once again, I apologize for that. Except for unblockable attacks, which are detailed further below. So, what this is basically saying is Yasuke, and it's unique to him only, the block allows mechanics for him to turtle up behind his weapon. So I think what they're saying here is, if you guys seen the Yasuke gameplay, that the little of it that we have anyway, anytime that he like does that motion with his weapon, I think that's what they mean. I wish that they would show something like that anyway to show off exactly what they're talking about, but this is one of the parts that they don't really show off what they're exactly talking about. But the guy that's been hyping up Shadows, he does make a comment here and says, these stable differences in attacks and defense are really what makes the control of each character unique and adaptable to your ideal play style. So, like I said before, what I'm taking this as, for your play style just depends on the character that you choose. So, once again, you want to be more stealthy with quicker attacks. Yasuke is not the one for you. Naoe is the one for you. She's your assassin stealthy character, while Yasuke is the more up in your face, ready for a fight. He'll take on anybody and everybody in an area at one time in one big combat section. Basically, he is your combat character or the RPG character. That's what I'm getting from this. Alright, let's move on to the next section. Skills and abilities. Skills and abilities can be acquired and learned throughout your journey to further develop your combats. Some of these are active abilities that are triggered manually in combat to deal more damage. Some are combo variations or extensions. Other introduced in Other introduce new mechanics that require precise timing and new tactical approaches. These will be crucial to surprise your enemies, and as they are tied to your progression, will give you an ongoing sense of growth within your combat mastery. We'll have more to say about progression later, but right now we can say that gaining levels or defeating specific foes will reward you with mastery points, which you can spend in a different mastery tree to unlock weapon-based skills and abilities amongst the other things. This progression loop will allow you to put your skills to the test by facing strong opponents and be rewarded with new moves to learn. Okay, so basically this is kind of going back to a little bit of Valhalla. Basically, you'll have the abilities, kind of like your abilities, and I'd even say a little bit of Odyssey too, because that game did have abilities. So you'll have abilities. They're you could trigger them in combat to deal more damage. So think of in Odyssey that spear stabbing move that I always did in my playthroughs. Think of it like that's an ability. Think of what's a good one in Valhalla? Maybe throwing your axes. That was an ability, or what was another one? Or maybe shooting an arrow that explodes. That was an ability. I remember that. So that's basically your abilities. Nothing too confusing there, really. Just maybe a different playstyle. The only thing that's really new is it sounds like using these will help master your combats, and there's also going to be a mastery point system to where it unlocks the mastery trees to unlock weapon-based skills and abilities. So think of this like you defeat a certain enemy in Shadows, you get a mastery point, and you put your mastery point in, let's say, the katana, and then you unlock a special ability with the katana. Think of it like that, basically. Very self-explanatory there. Nothing too confusing there. Real quick, I'm going to read through the next part. I don't have a screenshot of it. I'm sorry, guys. This one says, two protagonists. So and hence, our core fight mechanics are the same for Yasuke and Naoe, but as a samurai and shinobi, respectively, they each have their own weapon type and ability that can make them feel different from one another. Despite Naoe's formidable stealth prowess, I'm sorry, she's no pushover when it comes to combat. Quick and agile, she can make a short work of a single enemy with her barrage of attacks, but as the number of enemy increases, she will be significantly disadvantaged due to her lack of armor and limited combat resources. So once again, Naoe is your assassin character. She is your stealthy character. If you intend to play Yasuke, you could go in guns blazing, or I guess swords blazing, I guess, and just fight them all off, and you would probably win 90% of the time, unless if you don't know what you're doing. As for Naoe, you run in there, swords blazing, you might want to rethink your strategies a little bit, at least in the early game anyway. In later game, I could see you probably getting away with this. There might be eventually in Naoe's skill trees that it might start allowing her to take more hits or something and allow you to go more into the combat mode with her. So, all right. So this next part really, like I'm excited for. They go through each weapons, and then for each character, they go through each weapon. So let's get right on into that. Weapons. Both protagonists have a unique selection of weapons available to them, which offer their own set of abilities. Among other strengths, Naoe's weapons unlock unique stealth opportunities, while Yasuke offers a variety of strategies to be developed in combat. Here's a look at each of their weapon type. Naoe, Katana. Now, just full warning, once again, I apologize if I mispronounce words here, because I know I'm going to. The katana is very easy, but coming up, there's a few weapons I am not going to know how to pronounce, and I apologize in advance. I will try to pronounce it. So anyway, Naoe, the katana. Naoe's katana is well balanced and versatile. It's good, it offers a good balance of speed, damage, output, and defense. Well-timed attacks can stagger enemies, opening windows for posture attacks, which once again look above or look back in the video. The katana unlocks the ability to assassinate enemies through shinoji doors. I hope I pronounced that right. Oh god. Castrigma? Once again, I apologize. The fearsome once again, I apologize, is Naoe's best option for crowd control. So, if you've seen the gameplay a few months ago with Naoe, it was that one weapon that was on a chain when she was breaking the bamboo trees and all that, and and all the enemies right there. That's her ranged attack. That's her crowd control weapon, basically. Its extendable ball and chain can reach enemies at a distance and push back numerous enemies all at once, while its synthetic is... I'm so sorry, guys. Adapt at giving a single enemy... Wait, that's not... It's adept at giving a single enemy a very close shave. It unlocks the ability to rush assassinates enemies up to 10 meters away. I apologize for that little paragraph, guys. So basically, like I said, this is going to be the range weapon or crowd control weapon. We saw that in the gameplay that they released a few months ago. And also they do show like a new updated little clip of her using that weapon. So once again, the website will be in the description down below. Alright, this is the part that everyone's excited for. The return of the Hidden Blade and the Tanto. Hidden Blade combat makes a return when combined with the Tanto dagger. Combining whirling slashes and lightning fast stabs, it is the ideal weapon for the strike and retreats death by 1,000 cuts playstyle. The Tanto and Hidden Blade combo unlocks the ability to perform double assassinations. So double assassinations make a return after what seems to be like a long time. I think the last one was Syndicate. Yeah, Syndicate was the last game to have double assassinations. So yeah, I can't wait for this. This is, I can't wait to go around with Yasuke and Naoe. Or I'm sorry, with just Naoe, with the Hidden Blade, double assassinating enemies. Oh, I cannot wait for that. But anyway, let's move on to Yasuke. Alright, here's Yasuke's weapon types, or weapon categories. Yasuke, long katana. The legendary samurai weapon scaled up to match Yasuke's size. It is well balanced, equally efficient in attacks and defense. It is an excellent choice in a one-on-one duel or in the middle of a large-scale skirmish. Okay. So, this is basically like Naoe's katana, but only fit for Yasuke. That's why it's called long katana. It's longer, and it's his main weapon as a samurai. This is obviously self-explanatory. Here we go again with the names that I cannot pronounce. The Nagata. Once again, I apologize. Standing at over 2 meters in length and sporting a sharp blade tip, it's Yasuke's weapon of choice for crowd control. So it's basically a long stick with a pointy blade at the very end, basically. Once again, I'm sorry that I mispronounced the name. So this is his crowd control weapon, basically. So that's not that bad. Kanambu. Perhaps Yasuke's deadliest weapon and definitely his heaviest. That Kanambu can break through enemies' defensive and their armor with the slightest hits, but its deadliness comes at a price of speed and mobility. For the players, timing will be everything. So if you use this weapon, your timing has to be everything. And real quick, I'm not going to go through this one too madly. The bow that was hinted towards Yasuke's one stealth opportunity. The greatest Japanese bow allows Yasuke to attack unsuspiciously enemies from a distance and strike them down with precision. So once again, you want to be stealth with Yasuke, this is his chance right here. This is your time to shine if you want to be stealth with Yasuke, or stealthy with Yasuke. And his final weapon, the TPO rifle. This rifle combines destructive power with a high lethal utility. Its raw power offers more range than the bow and great armor penetration. With a slow rate of fire, even slower reload times, the TPO is a good opener when you don't mind being noticed. Okay, mastering a weapon takes time and dedication in Shadows. Players gain experience throughout combat, earning mastery points that can be spent on their favorite weapon types to unlock new abilities. So, the rifle, if you don't care about being seen, use the damn rifle, I guess. Alright, let's move on to the enemy types. This is going to be good now. Know your enemy. As you progress and discover new locations in Japan, you will encounter stronger and tougher enemies, each with new abilities and moveset that challenges different aspects of your fighting or your fight mastery. The enemies in Shadows are numerous and varied, but for I apologize, guys. Basically, what he's saying here is there's a different types, so they're gonna go through them. So let's go through them. Outlaws. Outlaws are the opportunists that prey on the weak, and for what little combat training they have, some make up for it with unusual tactics. Be wary of their brutes, who can still be incredibly deadly. So they're like your basic enemy, I guess. They'll be the ones that you fight probably the most anyway. Like maybe just out in the open anyway. Here we go again. Some kind of soldier. You know what? I'm not gonna even try. I apologize. These next groups, bulk of any clan's armies carry basic weapons and fighting usually. They tend to be more aggressive towards Nawe and fearful of Yasuke. So these are gonna be more of Nawe's enemies right here. Once again, I'm sorry I can't pronounce the name. I'm not gonna even try. Because, to be honest, I don't even know. But my main focus on this enemy is that they are more aggressive towards Nawe. So, does that mean if they see... And then it also says that they're fearful of Yasuke. Does that mean, since they're fearful of Yasuke, are they going to go running from him to avoid him if they see him? And if so... does that mean in certain missions they're going to be running away as well? And if they don't, are they going to be like barely attacking? Or are they going to be easy? I mean, I don't I don't know what they really mean by that. I mean, obviously they're fearful of Yasuke, but does that mean that he's going to scare them half to death? I wish that they would explain that a little more. Ronin, masterly samurai seeking their next meal. Most Ronin are in the employ of Naoe and Yasuke's enemies. Okay, they roam the roads and will attack on sight if they recognize you. Former samurai themselves, Ronin, are well trained and their looks are deceiving. Okay, so the Ronin is going to be the one that sees you and he's going to attack you. So I'm assuming, think of them, I guess, in a way, kind of like bounty hunters, I guess. Um, that's really all I could say about that. All right, here we go. Samurai. Whew. Suburb warriors, well trained and fierce in combat, samurai can carry a wide variety of weapons, from their trusty katana to the mighty kanambo. Oh my, okay. So these guys, wow. They can also wear an impressive selection of armor sets, including some very high-leveled in-game sets, and employ a surprising number of attacks and counterattacks in a fight. If you catch them unaware, samurai can be easily pickings for a shinobi, but as soon as they know a threat might be lurking nearby, their vigilance and battlefield awareness makes them formidable foes. Okay, so they're going to be the enemies to look out for. These are the ones that are going to be like pretty much aware the whole time, but if you can somehow catch them off guard, you're going to be in a major advantage if you can do that. Then we have a special type of samurai. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. An offshoot of the samurai family. These are enemy types that can only be founded in military castles. They have a unique fighting style that mixes a lot of techniques, and they are stiff combat challengers all by themselves, let alone when surrounded by other samurai. So, I guess this guy is more of a advanced samurai, I guess. So think of it like their captain, their mentor, their the ones that are very important. And it also states that they have some of the best loot in the game, so they are worth the time and effort. So basically they are they're the ones to try to go for. It's going to be worth taking them down. Guardians, the last little bit. An elite group of badass samurai, Guardians are used as reinforcements when the alarm is raised in any given area. With their unmistakable white means and face mask, Guardians aim to strike fear in their opponents and offer some of the most difficult combats that you'll find in Shadows. So the Guardians, they're going to be like the best of the best. They're going to be like the most difficult combat you'll find in Shadows. So these are the guys that could probably take on the samurai's mentors. Basically, they're the ones that the samurai and the samurai mentors are going to be protecting, basically. All right, let's move on to the next category. Study their tactics. Recognizing the patterns and tactics of your enemies will ensure you gain the upper hand in any situation. Here's a brief look at some of the mechanics and challenges you will face in Shadows. Flurry attacks. Flurry attacks are marked by a decisive blue glint on the enemy's weapon. They are a short success of attacks that won't stop even if you successfully block, parry, or deflect, or dodge them. The next blow in this series will come at you no matter what. So These attacks, basically, if you see a blue tint on their weapon, get ready to either block, 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 or dodge, 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 or even, I guess, parry, deflect, block, whatever you want to call it. Just get ready for a series of attacks, basically. Unstoppable attacks. Uh-oh. Oh, I can't wait for this. Unstoppable attacks are marked by a deceptive red glint on the enemy's weapon. They are hard-hitting, highly kinetic attacks that should ideally be dodged. Blocking, parrying, or deflecting an unstoppable attack will diffuse much of its energy, but it will break your character's guard and leave you open to follow-up attacks. So, once again, don't try to block these attacks. Dodge them. They're ideal to be dodged, so dodge out of the way of this attack. Advanced players may want to fine-tune their dodge timing because its perfect dodge against an unstoppable attack will trigger the enemy's vulnerable state. Which, once again, they have a little clip here. If you guys want to watch that, I'll link it once again in the description. Defensive actions. Here we go. This is the last little bit. While under attack, enemies have a variety of reactions available to them to attempt a movement shift. These are called defensive actions, and they can vary from a simple step back that avoids a single blow, all the way to lightning-fast, unstoppable counterattacks that will challenge your nerves. Okay, so basically, this is them changing up their guard, basically. It means they're just rethinking their strategy, I guess. Generally, the more enemies are involved in a fight, the less defensive actions each of them will perform. Let's see, their numbers will be enough to overwhelm you. Okay. But in a one-on-one duel against a highly skilled warrior, defensive actions will be numerous and nearly constant, pushing you to deceive your attacks and utilize every move you learn along the way. That's all we had for this week. There will be more opportunities to test your skills in combat in Assassin's Creed Shadows from surprising encounters in the world. Fight tournaments or dueling against legendary opponents. We can't wait to explore all the depths of this. Can't wait for you to explore all the depths of this system when you get your hands on the game on February 14th. And obviously they link their stealth article at the very end here. So yeah, that's basically all of the combat stuff. So overall, my opinion is I can't wait for this. Obviously, they've been hyping this up for a while now, that it's going to be so much different from the other games. While it's going to be similar, don't get me wrong, but it's also going to be very different with the different enemy types. Each enemy type have their own weapons, skills, and movesets. Then you have, obviously your protagonists that play differently. They're going to be together. I can't wait to see that. So yeah, so we got the stealth, we got the combat. The next one, you know what? I can't believe it. I forgot which one it is. I know exploration is going to be one. Oh, the parkour. So I think the next article is going to be about the parkour stuff, and then we're going to finally get the exploration or explore, basically the world, basically the open world, whatever you want to call it. So I can't wait for the parkour stuff. I have a feeling that one's going to be more Naue focused yet again, because I think they hinted towards that Naue. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Naue is the one to be the one that can parkour. Yasuke, I think, can climb certain things, but he won't be able to do parkour like Naue could. They might touch on him in a little bit for Yasuke for parkour, but I can't really see him having that much of a parkour system built into him. So yeah, that's all of my thoughts. Basically, I can't wait. I'm excited even more. Stealth, I'm really excited for. Combat, I'm excited for. As you all know, I will be playing the game on Valentine's Day. As soon as it releases, I will be streaming it. We're going to do 3 different playthroughs. One with Nawe, one with Yasuke, and then the third one is going to be my most famous no-death runs, where you guys get to interact with the playthrough itself. You guys will get to tell me when I get to play as Yasuke, when I get to play as Nawe, and which, if you're new to my channel, check out my no-death runs. They're all the videos that I have up to this date is in the Assassin's Creed playlist. You guys will get to see my no-death runs. Basically, if I die during the game, I have to start the game all over again. So yeah, that's going to do it for me for this one, so I can't wait. So look out for the next updates. That will be our parkour article, and then we will get to the exploration at a later date. Probably sometime in late January is what I'm guessing. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about Shadows. What do you think about its combat, its stealth? What do you expect from the parkour, and what do you expect from the exploration? I would love to hear your guys' comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Peace. If only I could